Welcome. No time like the present, so while I'm waiting for the water to boil, you want some news? I'll give you some news. This is fresh in. Where do we start? Facebook. Apparently you're only allowed 5,000 friends. That actually causes a bit of a headache, because how many accounts would I need to amass the required number? Things take time, and I don't know by name in this reality all of them, but we look at the atom. So the solid bit, that's the 1%. But the rest of it, it's actually 143,999. So things are true if they've been seen from multiple angles, as Jason says. He has said that it doesn't matter what happens to him, the information's out there. It's the Chronicon, it's archaics, not Jason. It's been spread round enough. I can use that as a testimony, I can use that as evidence, or whatever you want to call it. Because I can, shall we say, call out Jason, as it were. In this reality, things are taken literal and played out in the material, i.e. in the physical. So there is 144,000. I feel you know where I'm going with this. But in, was it the last video? About pressing the button. The answer is actually very simple, and it's all about doing opposites. And this will be a closed book on, are there multiple timelines? Because it is a simulation. So I'm going to tell you that, no, I'm not going to push the button, I'm going to do the unthinkable. Now, depending on what polarity you are and how you feel inside yourself, or whether you can see both the positive and the negative polarity of saying that I don't need to push the button because I can do the unthinkable. Now, you may hear that in a fearful sense. Well, I suggest you bring yourself back to centre on that one then. If you're too far over the other way and you're missing the negative side, then again, same thing. You need to centre yourself. But I'll leave you to join the dots between the 144,000 or seeking 143,999, and there's a handful, I do know who they are. Not for any other reason, because I've been shown. And ouch, that's hot. 37 degrees centigrade here today. That was a pretty amazing thing. Where was I? I'm pouring coffee, you see. Man, I love coffee. I'm in agreement on that one as well. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So doing the unthinkable will have the same outcome as pushing the button, but it's about being creative and using an imagination. But really, it's the answer which is shown to me, and there's a very creative way of doing it. It will also answer something else. Now, I go through with this, I follow up on the creative thought and see it through to the end. What it will prove is, first and foremost, if I see that outcome and you don't experience that outcome, but what I observe, what I'm watching unfold, and what I feel, it's made it real. But therefore, from that, because it's a holosphere, you're just a projected image of yourself. So there's another one of you that would join me going through this. You wouldn't come to any harm, and if you really do know, if you've given birth to a son, it doesn't matter whether in a male or a female body either, because it's not a physical birth, but it's going to come down to the select to sort this one out. It is 144,000. As within, so without. It's also the number of petals of the chakras, which is 144 up to the mind's eye, and then it's multiplied by 1,000, which gives you the 144,000. So, Jason, nice to see you again. On a personal note, I know exactly who you are, and I know, and I can categorically state as a fact, not just from a perspective or a conception, because I feel it. I'm also testing that feeling, because I stand by what I say, that it's not about being right, but it's confirming the feeling. So internally, it is a dialogue going on inside oneself. The fun is very soon to start. I can tell you how to do it. And why not? Because the more of you that do this, the better. You do the unthinkable. Now look at what the system is always implying, and through conspiracy theory side is always implying about unplug from the matrix. Well, what if you actually flip the polarity on this, and you run with the idea that this thing called Earth may be organic and natural, so I'm now pumping energy into it. I'm fucking Mother Earth, basically, to put it bluntly, in a metaphorical sense, because I'm channeling my energy, I'm grounding, I'm adding to it, because I can't sort the world out. I can't sort the Earth out, but the Earth can sort the Earth out. Because it'll go one of two ways. It either proves that it's natural and it's a bio-organic thing, though it's a simulation. It will have emotions, it will feel pain, and so on and so on. The world, the Earth, is what we're made from the dust of the Earth, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. It's where you return. It's like the magnetism. It's the dielectric, the pushing out and returning back in. It's a cycle. It's a circle of life. So, if it's not that, and it is artificial, and it is a sort of creating some sort of prison, as it were, then it'll overload it, and it'll be no more. But here's the thing. It is about being fearless, because you ain't going to come to any harm. Why don't you eat of this apple? Think about the shape of an apple. It's like a toroidal field. You will not die. There would be no story. There would be no point to this if you knew all the answers when you came into it. That's the beauty of the game. I don't want to hear any moans, any groans. I'm sick of it. About all of it. Because this is game on. It can be challenged. And it'll take 144,000. The number is replicated over and over and over in so many things. 1, 4 and 4 makes 9 for a start. But 9 can sometimes be disguised as a 7 or a 6, like the French word for 7 is sept, like you get September. And if you write in Roman numerals the 9, it's a 1 and an X. Now if you add 2 to that, it becomes an X and a 1. But you don't want I, X, X, I. Sorry, Yolanda Triller channel. you are absolutely right, but it's the divine union. It's merging the two into the one, so it becomes IXI. Look at a schematic of the optic nerve. The Noah's Ark. Yeah, everything went in 2 by 2, did it not? What are you taking in with your eyes? Is it any coincidence that it's Noah? And what if you change the spelling to Knower? What if he was a Noah? The story shows that he was a Noah because he was told by Enoch or Enki or whatever name. It doesn't matter the names. It's like if I was asked by some sort of officialdom, what's my name? It'd be, well, how long have you got? Because it's going to take an awful long time to list out 144,000 names, and it ain't going to fit on your piece of paper. Or it'll overload your device to feed the information back. So I don't give a shit, really. This is maybe a bit random, a bit different this video, but it's in the moment because it's like an atomic bomb. It's just bang, and seek the kingdom within and all will be given to you. It's absolutely true. It's a bloody good game. There is nothing that shouldn't be. It's absolutely perfect. And the sooner you realise that and appreciate that, the sooner you realise the things that you perceive in yourself are weaknesses, that is what gives you your individuality. That is the menu. You did the checklist, the tick list, and you selected different things. Add on top of that, because you're an eternal spirit, you've got soul memory. So, for example, if you were excelled at swimming, you'd probably have absolutely no interest in swimming in this incarnation, in this simulation. But of course, the timeline jumps are happening all the time. It's shown in the twin caduceus. It's as within, so without. There's multiple timelines running all the time. What you perceive as people that you knew 6 months or a year ago or before 2020, shall we say, that's a different version that you knew then. That's reflected in the physical as well, because think about the whole body. How long does it take for the whole cellular structure to renew itself? It's continuously changing. That is your fourth dimension. You're not in 3D. But as Rudolf Steiner explains it, you see from the next dimension. So a one-dimensional being couldn't recognize a one-dimensional being, but a two-dimensional being could recognize a one-dimensional being, but would not recognize a two-dimensional being, and so on with the third dimension will recognize two, but not be aware of three. Therefore, you are in a fourth dimension. That is like everything in this construct. It is subject to time. It runs like clockwork because it is like a pocket watch, a Swiss pocket watch, you could say. And there's a cog that's slightly adrift that just needs a little tap, but not too hard, you know. It's going to go to a 240-day year anyway, so time is speeding up, or will speed up. But it's the same with everything. It's how do you feel? What do you feel about it? Do you have a negative polarity, a positive polarity, or are you just neutral and just being a watcher, just being an observer? Who's the watchers again? Enjoy the show, that's all I'm going to say. The kittens are growing fast and leaping higher and getting more and more adventurous. Just turn it round, you might be able to see them there, hopefully. They've not long eaten, but it's been 37 degrees today. So it is about, going back on topic, it is about doing the unthinkable, and again, it can be seen from multiple angles. So I can quote Ken Wheeler, you can't think your way out of a thinking box, so stop trying to think and solve. There's nothing to solve. You'll see it in your mind's eye because it will flash up as pictures. What do you think adverts are based on? That's the material world. Think about the spiritual mirror. You need to be on that midway point, that the mirror line. You need to be walking on the edge, and it will feel like walking on the edge. I mean, I know. I do it every day, but I wouldn't change it for the world. That's ironic, isn't it? Isn't it funny, irony and iron? They've both got an R, and one is sounded and the other one isn't, but it's actually the same spell. So, yeah, just watch the show unfold. The more you stay neutral, the more you're not feeding any energy to it. The quicker you start causing overheating problems. Fans will start having to run a lot faster. But it won't cause a problem in the real realities. There's nothing new under the sun, and think of the sun, it's the light, it's the Christ consciousness. Where are you going to find that? How about Paul's letter, was it 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 5, do you not know that Christ is within you? The thing is, you got to drop it, you got to let go of everything, including that. It has to fall from the solar plexus, the place of the sun. It has to be a setting sun first to get to the root of the matter, because you're in material, before it can rise. So, it is let go of everything. That's not just a metaphor. I can't show you in the physical. It's something you'll only know by feeling it. That's the only way you're going to know anything. And depending on how you feel at the present time will also be very much dominated by what you're thinking. So don't try and think your way out of it. You've got the chronology. You've got someone who is the world's unique, one and only leading authority on chronology. There is no one anywhere near that. That is Jason Breshears. Some of you don't like that. Well, tough shit. That comes again down to how you feel. Your perception. When I'm prepared to go the whole hog, as it were, and say, I know exactly how I feel, I know from what I feel that I identify who Jason really is, not the husk, not the avatar, the core essence. You're not going to get it with these physical eyes. You're not looking for something physical. There's no point looking, because you won't find it. You'll see it in the mind's eye and you will feel it. It is called soul recognition. See, 144,000 makes up an atom, an embodiment. As within, so without. Hopefully that doesn't sound like I'm being grumpy or anything, because it's not, but I'm staying neutral to it because I do find some things irritating. I'm not a television, I'm not a pharmacy, and I don't like doing repeats. I do enjoy passing the time making videos. It's a sort of like a virtual stage. We're in a virtual reality. We're in a simulation. And the sun, stop worrying about whether it's a simulation. If you're in a simulation, of course it's a simulated sun. That's the reason, doesn't it? You don't even have to think about that one. Just seeing what is so blatantly obvious with the mind's eye. I've really said enough, haven't I? Because, oh look, 1944. That's an interesting date, because you got a 44 and a 1. You also got a 9, which is a completion. Numbers is a language. I actually speak a lot of languages, or not speak, I understand a lot, or understand a lot of languages. Numbers is one language. I could say there's at least another 24 languages. I'm most familiar with E flat major or D minor. But of course there are others. There's some fantastic things like B flat major. Think of, you've got 7 chakras, crown to root. And of course you've got A to G in music, tones, vibrations. It's exactly the same thing, just a different expression of the same thing, but it is the same thing. So it's not about hearing a piece of music, it's about feeling what is intended in that music. But art, of course, is subjective, so what you get out of it and what the composer of that piece of music may say may not quite tally. But there is no right or wrong answer with that, because the artist is a medium for the art spirit. Art is creation. If you're going to look at anything, look at art. Look at the Sistine Chapel, look at the ceiling painting, look at the outstretched hand of God from the pineal gland, count the number of faces in that. Look at the laid back Adam. Look closely, those fingers don't touch. The message is so simple in that. It is simply saying there is nothing between you and God. It's dropping a huge hint for you to remember who you are, or to awaken yourself. I'd suggest listening to Neville Goddard, lectures about the birth from above. It's also called Saturn return in astrology. But there's no time like the present, because it's not an exact science on the timeline. Some of you may get it, I don't know, maybe at 26 or 27 years old if you're lucky in a way, but you would have to have a very colourful life to have amassed so many experiences. It may be better to go for the second Saturn return around the age of 60. So you've got a balance between experience and still having a physical time span which you can then go forward with, because you become self-empowered. The empowerment, which is the me power, because it's flipped. You see, E and M. Like EMF is like an anagram of fem. It's referencing the divine feminine. It's about the alchemical marriage. It's in the decode I did on the Toy song, The Pact. Remember the pact, you'll be mine for eternity. It's the divine feminine inside you is communicating it. She's fair, she allows free will. She says, but if you want to get rid of me, I present to you the atom bomb. So you'll fracture again. Humpty Dumpty will have a great fall, and you'll shatter into 144,000 pieces or more, maybe. And here we go again. And round and round in sort of more oval, really, isn't it? But I think you get the drift. So you know what to do. Well, if you don't know what to do, then come and talk to me, or you don't even have to talk to me, just message me and say, can you recommend, where do I start? And I'd say Neville Goddard for a start. If you find that too biblically, or too bibbly, is that a word? Then there's many other ways of doing it. Dr. Joe Dispenza shows how to do it. Jason, and about being fearless on Archaic's channel is another, exactly the same thing. Listen to True Love channel as well. Now, some of you might think, oh, you can't pair up these people, and because I know there's differences and things, but I'm going with a common ground. I'm looking for the neutral ground between the 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I'm not interested in adding and being the adversaries. I don't want to start, which Aries is the start, by adding a verse and saying, don't trust that one, do trust that one. What I'm saying is, look at the bigger picture and look at the common ground and go with what feels right. It's not about being loyal to this or that person or this or that channel. But equally, there is also the matter of discernment and watch where that channel is steering you. What sort of things is it showing you? What are you going to benefit from it? I'm not talking about external details, even from that aspect, even the Chronicon and world history and getting it in the right order, you can throw to one side. I'm not saying that's unimportant. I'm saying the next step beyond that, and it's actually a step before in a way at the same time, it's doing the inner work, coming to that contented, looking for that sweet spot, which is a flat spot. Well, the Earth is a flat plane, it's within a sphere, it's a hollow sphere. It's like the depictions of the atom, so you're on this tiny little solid bit, this material bit in the middle of it. And yes, it's fascinating, and it is nice to know, but what I'm saying is by doing the unthinkable, you're going to prove to yourself a lot of things. The other thing is, or the question that would arise out of that is, well, what about awareness of that there is another timeline? Well, to that I can say, I thought it was going to be the magnolia tree, or possibly the pear tree. I didn't think it would be this other smaller tree that's sort of down on the terraces. I can't be bothered to walk out there now, otherwise I'd show you. But I'll be honest. And also losing train of thought. But whenever I water that one, I think of Cosmo, Julia from Simplicity Revealed. I was privileged when I first came here to sort of interact with Cosmo for those brief 3 weeks, but he's definitely here. And I said to him, I said, well, see, look, that's got to be better. You're free from pain, but you're in a different timeline that is exactly identical to this one, but he's healthy. So he didn't die. The only thing is, it's down to frequencies, and I am now aware of it. You can say, oh, you're just making it up, you've got a wonderful imagination. Well, that's exactly what it is. Imagination is creation. But there's also the distinction of, you get these pictures, it's like having a little flat screen TV inside the front of your skull. It's your third eye, and you'll see these pictures. It's like going to the cinema, but you're already in a dark room, but you've got a much bigger picture because you are the universe. It's you in verse. You'll see everything because it will be shown to you, but you don't expect it to all come in one whoosh. That would be one hell of an overload. It goes. What's flashed into the mind is that. I'm trying to think of the character. Harrison Ford plays. That explorer. Indigo Jones, I think it. Indigo Jones? Oh, something like that, anyway. Indiana Jones. And there's one, I remember there was like these vulture type things, and this woman in the middle of a circle, and she says, show me everything, and it's like an overload, and her head blows off. It's like, that'd be quite an atom bomb, wouldn't it? It'd be like having a week's food and trying to get through it in one go, man versus food sort of thing. It's like, that's just stupid. Everything in moderation, everything in balance. Because once you've absorbed all that, even in the physical stuff, you've got to digest it. How long is it going to take if you ate a week's worth of food in one meal? If it is even possible. I wouldn't really want to put that to the test. There's expanded consciousness and there's expanded waistline. I mean, which one are you going to go for? The physical or the metaphysical? Right. I've babbled on for nearly 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop there. Love to you all. Unconditional love to you all at that. It's from the heart, but it is totally neutral. Because I'm not going to stop you going down a route. If you don't want to try these things out for yourself and go with what feels right, exercise and use your free will in the right way, so it serves you. Take control of it. Because It's blatantly obvious that if you don't take control of you, then there's a system that is perfectly willing to take control of you and push you down a different path that you might not find so conducive. It would be an experience, yes, but do you want that experience? Or would you rather be fearless, be an errant, and have some fun? It's like, why bother trying to escape the matrix? To me, a lot of it looks pretty good. It just needs a little bit of fine tuning, and it's, well, I'll take it with me then. That's one thing I don't need to let go of. And if I'm now pushing my energy into Earth, then that'll be a waste of energy if I'm going to sever myself off from it. So the ascending is actually descending, if you think about it, because it's all about grounding. It's all about going within. It's not about going up there or out there or anything, is it? Okay, it's going up in the physical sense inside. But then you've got to meet halfway. You've got to come back to the heart. Because you've got the solar plexus below. You've got the heart in the middle. That's the key of D. D major or D minor. You've got A major, A flat major and all that. And minor. And then you've also got E, but you've also got G as well, don't forget. The G spot is it's the root. It's the ground. It's the Gaia. These things are all there for a reason. G and the number 7, it's because 7th chakra, if you're starting at the top and going down, if you're seeing it from a higher perspective and looking at it from that angle, as it were, that angle of light. Yeah, I have talked way too long. Shit. 31:44. I'm going to stop there. Love to you all.